YouTube? LJ Draco here, yes, back with another 3D Blu-ray review. It's been a while. I'm still pretty sure I did a review on this movie not long after getting it. However, going through all my videos on my channel, it turns out I hadn't done a review on this. It's kind of confusing for me. Maybe I recorded it but never uploaded it. Maybe that happened. It's happened with other videos that I've done, so it's very possible. Anywho, this is a review on Ralph Breaks the Internet 3D. So just a quick heads up, this was actually sent to me by a very good friend of mine, Eva. I know that she'll be watching this, so thank you, Eva. She knew that I would probably never pick this up at the time it got released, and she was right, I wouldn't have. So, as you guys know about my reviews, I don't really talk so much about the cast and the characters, and I do like a little talk about what I think of the movie, and then I talk about the 3D. That's what I do. If you want to hear more about actual the movies, you can always watch a standard movie review. My reviews are always just about how the movie looked in 3D. Do I think the movie benefited from the 3D? Do I think this is only watchable in 3D? And if the 3D is worth the purchase? That's what all my reviews are based on. So if you want like a movie review with a 3D review, that's just not who I am. I'm sorry. But I can express how, in terms of story, before we get into the actual 3D, I will talk a little bit about how I felt about this story. So obviously it is the sequel. It's a couple of years after the first film, Wreck-It Ralph. And this movie is more about how friendships kind of develop into a stronger bond, but not so close together. And this is about incorporating the true raw feeling of your best friend or your friends having their own lives and how to cope and adjust with this happening. I will also admit that Gal Gadot is in this movie, and her voice acting is just as good as her normal acting. I'm definitely happy that she is a part of this story. Her character is awesome, by the way. So, let's talk about the 3D. In terms of the first Wreck-It Ralph, which I have right here. So, in terms of this, 3D for this is quite a letdown, and I don't know if anyone else agrees with me. I wouldn't say it's flat, there's so much missing in terms of depth and pop. Hardly any pop, and the depth is only about 10%. It's kind of like a cardboard thing where this is the background and then it's only a little bit forward. So you don't get much 3D with this. And the film is great, but the 3D is kind of a letdown in terms of how it was made and how it was put through. Whereas this one, however, this is definitely an upgrade in terms of 3D. There is definitely noticeable pop and depth, both throughout the whole film. There are certain scenes where the depth is stronger than the pop, and then there's other scenes where they both very, very much complement each other. In terms of presentation, as you guys know me by now and by all my reviews, a perfect 3D release is 50-50 depth and pop. You know this has to be an equal balance. I unfortunately would say this is about 80% depth, 20% pop. Does that take away from the movie? Does it make you feel like, something's missing? No, not at all. This movie does require a lot more depth, and knowing that works really well. You do get the feeling, you don't feel like you're watching a 2D movie, you don't feel like you're underwhelmed throughout. You do notice such beautiful amounts of depth. And you do notice some individual space between objects in the 3D. There's a scene where they're going through the internet and you see these little carts. And you can see individual depth between these carts. So you know they've got their own little place in the 3D, which is nice to see. Compared to the first, it's definitely nice to see. Now, I know a lot of people, you can't really compare a first movie and a sequel in terms of, because sometimes the modern ones get a bit better treatment. And that has been quite a few occasions where Maleficent, the first one, and then the second one's better. First one's terrible. Frozen First one's okay, but the second one's better in terms of 3D I'm talking about. So I'm not surprised this is better, but I'm happy. Do I recommend the purchase of this? If you love 3D movies with very noticeable depth and the occasional very good pop, then yes, I do recommend the purchase. I know it's still quite a bit of a pricey purchase for people, so I do recommend that only if you truly want to watch this in 3D, then yes, get it. If you could live without it, then the 2D would work just as well, whether it's the 4K or the Blu-ray. This film, in terms of just its natural release, its 2D natural release, the colours are beautiful, the animation is stunning, definitely an enjoyable release regardless. So, for story-wise, in 2D, this movie does get about a 4 out of 5 just because it does hit some really powerful heartstrings. You get hit with the feels in this. In terms of 3D, I definitely do give it a 4.5 out of 5. The only reason it doesn't get the 5 is because even though it's still really good in 3D, it didn't have that little thing that I was looking for. It didn't have that little extra that would have gone, right, blow my mind. I would definitely watch this in 3D more than I'd ever watch it in 2D. The only way I'd watch this in 2D is if someone says, I don't watch 3D. I don't watch 3D. I don't own a 3D TV, but I want to watch the film. Actually, any time I'd watch it in 2D, but whenever this goes on, 3D release definitely goes on. Right, so I know my review was a bit all over the place, but that's because I haven't really done reviews in a while. So bear with me, I'm just getting back into talking about movies and reviews. Give me time to get adjusted back into this platform. But yeah, no, thank you yet again to my friend Eva. She's a lovely person. She didn't have to send it to me, but you know, thank you. Really do appreciate it. I'm happy to have it in my collection now. Anyway, that is the end of this review. I hope you enjoyed this review. I hope this review was helpful in the purchasing process or watching process, if it has. And stay tuned for more 3D reviews. I've been watching a lot of 3D titles recently. My next 3D review, I am going to say, is going to be San Andreas. It's a 3D movie I hadn't seen before. Definitely want to talk about it. Anyway, take care, you wonderful, wonderful people, and I shall see you next time.